Hey guys, my name is Andrew. I'm here with Abhi and we want to show you how to employ the BRRRR strategy on this duplex house right here in Stony Creek, Ontario. Just for some context, Abhi is a student who enrolled into our Property Hustlers real estate investing program, and he recently picked up this property right here at an amazing deal, and we want to showcase how to employ the BRRRR strategy because the BRRRR strategy is one of the most popular ways that real estate investors use to grow and scale their real estate game. BRRRR stands for buy, renovate, rent, refinance, repeat. And right now we are in the renovation part of it, where we're going to talk about how we went about finding the property and what we're going to do to this to make it an optimal rental property that's going to produce high rents so that we can refinance the property at a later date. So Abhi, let's talk about the property a little bit because this is obviously the worst property in the best neighborhood, right? So, and let's talk about first, how much did you buy it for and what did that look like?
The property was listed for $780K and we got the price down to $740K.
740,000.
Yeah.
Legal duplex.
Yes.
That is amazing, right? And if we talk about the area a little bit, what does this area look like?
This neighborhood is obviously very posh. Lowest property price on this lane is about 1.35 million. We have a property that just got sold right in front of us.
That property right there,
Yes.
that's a smaller
Yes.
one compared to this.
Yes, it's not a duplex, it's just one floor. And it's about the same size as my property, but even that got sold for 1 million.
That property sold for $1 million, not a duplex. And this property is in an older condition, an older state, but are you gonna spend $240,000 renovating this property?
No way.
Not even close. So your intention here is to rent it out
Yeah.
and be able to draw a mortgage because you got a
Yes.
mortgage with a private lender,
Yes.
open mortgage,
Yeah.
which means that you have to get into a B lender or an A lender.
Yes.
You need to rent it out and get the place so you can shift off private.
Absolutely.
So we want to optimize rents. Full gut or partial gut?
Partial gut, and then refresh the units inside, complete renovation in the inside.
Perfect. I think
Yeah.
that's going to look really great. So right now he's midway already started, and we're going to start talking about the intention and what materials we're going to look for and how we're going to do it. So I think we should go look at the property. Okay, so we're in the main floor unit now. This is obviously a really great space. I like it when we have the kitchen that is connecting to the living room, even when it's a breakfast bar.
Yeah.
What is it that you want to do here? Because there's obviously a lot of work. You got the paint on the walls going. What are we doing with the floors?
So we're gonna put a light floor here, vinyl. We're gonna make the whole theme light. The room looks bigger, there's plenty of space. There's enough sunlight coming in. It's gonna look really bright once we put all the floors in, and we're gonna paint the door, we're gonna change the locks.
So it's a lot of the little things that's gonna make everything feel a little bit bigger and a little bit brighter. How do you envision somebody using the space? Because here it's obviously ideal that somebody's gonna have a few chairs here
Yes.
for the breakfast bar.
Yeah.
Where does somebody put their couch?
I was thinking like there could be 2 couches, one that goes within that space or enclosure there.
Yeah.
And then another couch, maybe
That way.
something down the window.
All right, and where does the TV go? Right here?
Yeah, TV goes right here.
When we're creating a space, I think it's always good that we anticipate how it should be used. Like if we were putting a TV there, you know, are you gonna get an electrician to put an outlet there on the wall? Because there's no outlets here right now. And technically this space, even behind here, great area to have some hooks to be hanging coats and maybe a little shoe shelf over here. So building it with intention will go a long way. Let's go check in the kitchen here. You gotta love the wood strip walls going on here. It's obviously older. We don't want to necessarily tear everything out because where we stop. What do you feel about these kitchen cabinets?
Obviously they go with the look.
Yeah.
I don't want to change it too much. I would honestly do another cleanup of this place and keep them as is. Install new plugs in, change the appliances, put a dishwasher there, and that's pretty much it. Clean the whole place up.
Because you know what, a lot of people will look at this sometimes and say, I feel bothered by this. Maybe they find this a little bit too old. Maybe they don't like the tile, right? Because it's a little gaudy. It clashes. You see, this color doesn't go in with anything else, right? At least you have the darker countertop, which is nice. But remember, it's not necessarily for you. And I think when you are picking tenants, you have to decide, do you want to have a not totally new apartment for slightly less rent? And would tenants prefer to have something like this as long as it's a little more affordable? Right now, there's a housing crisis and affordability issue. People want affordable housing. So vinyl flooring, are you going to keep it going throughout the same?
Yes, entire unit is going to have new vinyl flooring.
Perfect. That's amazing. And there's a window here. There's a lot of great like natural light going on. They're in like decent conditions. There are thermal.
Brand new stainless steel appliances.
Brand new stainless steel.
Also new lighting.
Yeah. You know, it's funny when we see things like this, the exposed wire. This is how you can tell it was an afterthought, right?
And we're going to have pot lights there as well.
Are you going to get rid of the fan?
I'm going to keep the fan. I'm inclined on keeping the fan.
Sometimes I look at these fans and they say, oh, they're old, but they're so practical in older houses like this too, because this has radiant heat. You need something to move the air around so you don't feel that stagnation and humidity. The bathroom's actually in good condition. Do we want to do anything with this?
I was thinking of changing the vanity mirror, change the plugs and switches, put vinyl flooring here as well.
There are some things that we can always leave to the end in order to make a decision. Because when we budget a project and we start to uncover things, we're gonna find some problems. So we wanna leave some cushion. And then if there's some extra money, yeah, let's do the bathroom. Yeah, exactly. Okay. It's in pretty good condition already. Yeah, this is a pretty small bedroom, but it's got the closet space. What do you wanna do with that closet area over there?
Put sliding doors there, maintain it as a closet space.
These can be electrocuted workable, but if you manage to put mirrors here, it'll make the place feel really bright. So this is a 2-bedroom main floor apartment. There's one room here, one room over here. I love these windows.
Yeah.
These windows are amazing. Gone with a light gray wall. So everything will feel neutral, not offensive, and somebody can brighten or darken it up if they want. 2 closets, which I think is amazing. So we have actually a couple of corridor spaces. I actually find it's unfortunate because if I was going to do extensive work here, I'd want to tear down this wall. I'd want to maybe tear down this wall or something. And just, you don't need this many corridors. Are you going to keep these sconces or put a central light, or what do you think here?
I would definitely change this. Whether I would put something here or there, keep it on the same spot. I think I would decide when I have the entire look of the house.
That's a good approach, because sometimes people think I have to have everything planned out from the beginning, but when you're flipping or you're burning a property or prepping it for rent, you have to constantly look at the budget, see where you have money, and then if you have a little bit extra, you can make these changes and you can make adjustments as you go. So that is the right way to look at it. So this is just over 6 foot of height, right? It's unfortunate when you have a basement that is almost usable, right? Almost exactly what you need. But there's a plus side to that, because should you decide to do work here later down the road, add an extra unit, because now it's not too hard to triplex properties because they want that kind of densification. So we're coming into the 2nd floor unit. Now that's actually a convenient front entrance. I do love how perfectly everything is laid out. You know, when it's a legal duplex, it tends to be way more proper than sometimes you go into these ones that are just ramshack. But I love how many windows they have, and up here, they're not that old. They're actually decently upgraded. So this upper unit feels a little newer somehow. Same thing as the downstairs, though, good closet space. Outlets on every wall, which is very convenient. So let's look at the next bedroom. This is 2nd bedroom. This is front facing, really nice. Same thing, big bright windows. The baseboards, do we want to do the same renovations here as we're going to be doing downstairs?
More or less, yes. Paint, new flooring, baseboard trims, paint everything, all these heaters. Hot lights all over the house.
Hot lights, and the center, change it to a fan, or just leave it as a dome light?
I don't want to keep a fan here because of the ceiling height.
Lower, You know, they have a lot of baseboard heaters here. It makes me wonder whether or not this would actually get too hot. Half the walls in here are baseboard heaters. The wood railing is nice. I'm assuming you're going to keep it as it. What happened here?
So while we were putting the flooring upstairs, and while we were stomping the insulation down to put the plywood on, some of the drywall fell off from this. And it's a good thing actually, because when it fell down, we discovered that there are a few joists that are rotting. So
actually, this is why people don't sometimes like taking out drywalls, because you end up finding things that you weren't expecting to find here. Like that's really rotted, and I feel like anybody looking at that will feel nervous. The question is, there's an upstairs attic that you're converting into usable space, and these are only 8-inch joists. They can only support so much weight. So the question is, what do we want to put up there? Because if we want to put something heavy, we have to reinforce the joist.
So nothing heavy up there.
You only need to sister joist what is compromised. Functionally, this seems like a better living room. I know it's not as big as the attic, but the fact that it's connected to the kitchen, should you decide to connect, you know, sometimes people will tear down these walls later, because this wall connecting, this is not structural. You can tell because it's not supporting any joists. When the joists are this way, the structural walls tend to be perpendicular to the joists in order to support them. And there's usually walls underneath. So this wall, should you have wanted to, you can always tear it down. So for the upstairs, if you're just keeping it a bedroom, I think that's ideal because it's relatively light. Having a bed, a mattress, maybe a dresser with some clothes, it's all relatively light stuff. So for now in the kitchen, what is happening here? There seems to be a lot of torn out stuff.
So we're obviously gonna change the appliances. There's gonna be a small cabinet next to the stove.
Okay, and what's the layout? Does the fridge go in the corner?
Yes.
Okay, fridge, cabinet, and then a stove.
Yes.
Okay, perfect.
It's about 75 inches, so all in all, we're gonna reduce the frontage or reduce the size of the fridge. Probably be about 24 to 28 inches.
All right, and you're getting rid of these appliances. We're going for newer stuff?
Yes.
Perfect.
This side, we're gonna have a stacked laundry, a dishwasher here. So this is also again about 72 inches.
So this is a 6-foot space, 24-inch stackable, and then you're gonna have a sink.
I'm debating on the sink whether to put 2 separate sinks. The dishwasher here is gonna be 18 inches.
So this is 25 inches right here.
Yeah, so from here to the wall.
Yeah.
It's about 19 inches.
Okay, so you have 30 inches right here. Here's the problem I see. Where are you gonna put the drawers for your cutlery?
So we're gonna have an added painting where you see that switch. So that's gonna be a storage shelf. We're gonna have cabinets here as well.
Yeah, so you're gonna have this for plates and everything.
Yes.
You're gonna have this thing here. This is gonna create a bit of a pinch, but it's functional. And sometimes we have to decide how functional we want it to just pretty, right? So this whole thing will be a lot more functional.
Yes.
If you're doing custom cabinets, what I see some people do every now and then is they will get them, even if you just have the shallow drawer below the sink.
Okay.
Right below the sink, it has a shallow drawer.
Yeah.
Just so you can put some cutlery.
Okay.
Right, just a little bit if that's an option. Let's look at the washroom. We have blue tiles. You want to keep them?
I don't have a plan yet.
You can tell the old construction style. The reason why they kept the shower wall away from the wall was so that they can access it later for repairs. And you also don't want to put plumbing on the exterior wall because it has the potential to freeze. So the most value that you're adding here, you're adding that through the attic, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's actually look at that because that is where you're gaining square footage. This attic looks amazing. This is actually, how many square feet do you think this space is?
So after covering it up, after flooring and drywall, I think we would be able to get somewhere around 600 square feet.
That is a lot of square foot to be adding to a home. This is actually an ideal kids room, you know, where you can put a bed here, a bed on the other side. So this is actually pretty usable. You just have to maybe tear out some of the drywall that is already here, insulate it properly, and then you're good to go. How much does this cost?
Initially, when I got the first quote,
it
was $35,000 just to do this place.
Wait, the attic only?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. With my friend, when he came to this place, he gave me this idea that it's not actually going to cost much. It's not going to be ideal, but the way he's going to do it is going to save a lot more cost and make this place functional. Right now, it would be, I would say, 15,000, 10 to 15,000 for this entire place.
That is a way better price. You less than halved it. These ceilings are great selling points. And if you do have your electrician come in and run a couple of highlights too, people love this kind of space. You put an AC unit in here too, it'll feel great. And if you're new to real estate and want to know how to get into real estate investing, there are tons of ways to do it just by getting involved with the right people. I'm here with Aman, who is working very closely with Abhi on this project, learning about how he goes about finding these properties and scoring deals, and also obviously the entire renovation process. So we're just going to ask Aman a couple of questions here because I want to know what you've been learning with respect to working with Abhi on this project so far, because obviously there's a lot of things going on. So what's some of the most insightful things?
One of the most insightful thing that's happened is being able to scout for the right property. So we've been going around looking at a lot of properties, and from my perspective, when I look at a property, there's a lot of emotions coming up because I don't own a house. So I do want to be a first-time owner as well, but I have to keep that on the side and look at it as a business project. So when I do that, then I see the house and I look at it and I go like, is there value in that house? For example, like this house that we're in right now, it is almost not livable when we saw it. And now that they're tearing the place down, I can see like what all is going into it, like so much work going into it after that as well. You want to look into a house which has a lot of unused or untapped potential in it. Like for example, when you look at it from the outside, you'd see if it's looking very new or is it a bit run down. How's the driveway? Does it have covered parking and things like these little things that you look for initially?
Yeah, there's a lot of value. Even this attic space has huge potential because it wasn't used. Right now we're here with DK from Hardwood Giant in Woodbridge, and he is here working very closely with Abhi, helping out, making a lot of great recommendations and helping with the decisions as to what we should do here. I want to take this opportunity to talk a little bit about the flooring mechanics. When we as landlords or real estate investors want to go about a rental property and work with an entire space like this, I want to know from your perspective, what is the recommendation? What product should we use and why should we use it?
By looking into this house specifically, if we are going to rent it out, then I would recommend we need to put it a vinyl flooring.
Yeah, vinyl flooring is definitely the landlord go-to,
yes.
Right? And for any property that's going to be rental. In what cases would you say anyone would go for laminate over vinyl?
From the saving cost point of view, the cheapest one is laminate flooring.
Yeah, and now we're gonna go to the studio and break down the numbers. So a property like this obviously has a lot going on, and we wanna make sure that we can control things when it comes to the budget to make sure that everything works out the way that we're anticipating. Now, as Abhi said, that the intention here is clear from the start. He wants to get this property, fix it up so that it's rentable, and refinance it to pull his capital back out. So he's getting this property for $740,000. And remember, it was listed for $780,000. And if you look at some of the other comparable properties, it's obviously got a lot of things working for him, where Abhi did a great job of buying a property right so that he's able to make money on the buy, making the rest of the flipping process very much a less stressful thing, and you're going to be able to maximize what you're able to pull out of the property by making the property look better, employing some intelligent renovations, and generate value and equity within the home. So let's look at it. There's a lot of positive things here. Like the property has big parking, it's in a posh neighborhood, lowest comparable is 1.35 of something that's actually similar, and even the tiniest house, which is not really a great comparable, sold for $1 million. So these are all great things for him considering he bought the place for $740,000. When he's going for a property like this, he wants to be able to rent it and refinance it through either a B lender or an A lender, and that's going to be fine, which means that he has to control the budget. Remember, when you're buying a property, you have your purchasing cost, which is your down payment. Then you're going to have your renovation budget and capital set aside. Now you're going to have carrying costs, you're going to have lawyer fees, you're going to have lender fees, and these are all things that you're going to need to tally up. And then you also want to make sure to have a slush fund. Now, if we're doing $100,000 of renovations here, how much of a slush fund do you want to have? We generally feel comfortable with having anywhere from $20,000 to $40,000 on top of it in case anything significant happens. We think that a property like this should be able to get appraised for anywhere between $1 to $1.2 million. If we're able to do a refinance on the property at $1.1 million with an 80% loan to value, that is going to essentially give us almost a full BRRRR. The mortgage is going to be exactly $6,164. And then you have utilities, taxes, insurance. Let's add another $1,000, maybe a little more for that because it's a big property. And that's going to bring us up to about $7,200. Now, Abby may be able to pull something in and around $5,000. And depending on the rental market, how nice the units turn out and what type of an audience that area can attract. But pretty much there's not really a great way to be cash flow positive at this time. So when you look at the fact that he may be running cash flow negative, he now has a performing asset that he's able to hold. This is going to be a very positive thing if he's playing a long-term game. If you like this video and you found it helpful and informative, make sure to like, subscribe, check out the socials for Abby. We're going to leave some in the description below, and make sure to stick around for part 2 if you want to see how this project turned out.